maybe we are proving a case I've been reluctant to make, because as a political, ideological, left-leaning person, I don't like cultural religion. But over the decades, I've had to acknowledge that, yes, these men were these old school atheists who were then the new atheists and now they're the old atheists again, they were so inconsistent with the implications of their own worldview. They acted so religiously while claiming to be the least religious people who have ever lived that they had to, like, this had to be, I'm going to say it, they're borrowing capital from somewhere. Nothing in their worldview, nothing in their lived experience could have made them this optimistic. And maybe that's the difference between us. And that's fine in our view of this thing. I think they were entirely sincere, not just because I was one of them, but because I've known a lot of them over the years. I think they sincerely adhere to their generally progressive political ideology. I think they're genuinely. Now, the ones that I've met by vast majority are former somethings, usually former Christians of some sort. So in that case, it makes perfect sense that they're going to try to replace the framework that they left with a similar framework, minus, as you were getting at, the things that they don't want anymore. But I don't know if Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson were in that position, but the culture itself obviously bequeathed them that legacy. I mean, you don't have to be a cultural conservative and think America was once God's country to acknowledge that Christianity was the, like, hands down, unquestioning, dominant worldview in American life to one degree of consistency or another, up until arguably shortly after 9/11. So it makes perfect sense that they came out of that milieu. You're not Machiavelli. You're not Caesar. You're not a Greek philosopher. You're not a cynic. And you're an American. And you're raised to believe in the 50s and 60s and 80s and 90s that you're from, you believe you're from God's country, and you, without believing in God. So all of this, I think, was what framed this. And since it was at least theoretically Christian in its origins, I tend to have a more positive view of it. Philosophically, you're 100% correct. It's goofy. I call it the great contradiction. It's utter nonsense.
And to be fair, the atheism I was encountering was not that. It was snarky. It was irreverent. It was mocking. It was condescending. You know.
Okay.